Yeah, check it. Listen up, we're making noise. Strictly Sports Podcast, bringing all the toys. We wise, Malls, and Trigger. We the three wise men. Drop the knowledge, breaking records. It's our mission, man. From the field to the court, we cover it all. No topic too big, no team too small. We analyze, we debate, we bring that heat. Strictly Sports crew taking over the beat. Strictly Sports Podcast.
What is going on, everybody? How y'all doing? It's your host, one of your hosts, B-Wise.
And your boy Miles.
We're back with another episode of Strictly Sports. How you doing, brother?
I can't complain. I'm blessed and highly favored.
Yes. We're blessed, black, and highly favored.
Mm-hmm.
So, as Charlamagne would say. But we here. Trigger is coming. We just wanted to go live because we were having a conversation in the backstage, and I just wanted to bring it to the front stage as a promise of the pre-show that we did one episode. Hey, Snowden was a dope episode, but
it was.
It's coming back. This is what this is. This is a wrap up. This is just going to be an open conversation about everything going on in sports and just us and just everything and just talking. So as we were talking about, I went on a field trip today with a bunch of fourth graders to Pamplin Park, and it was Trigger. You here? Trigger, introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Trigger.
We were just we were talking about the field trip. We were just doing like the pre-show. So you came in during the pre-show, but I was talking about how the field trip we went to Pamplin Park, and it's shocking to see how some of the youth act, and it's a need for more. One, I'm gonna say it's a need for male teachers. We need more male teachers, and I'm gonna be more specific because we need more Black and Spanish and all types of race of male teachers from what I'm seeing in these schools and everything. So
yeah, I'm glad you got that experience. And you was only out there for what, 3 hours?
Yep.
Yeah, so try doing that 7 hours a day, 5 days a week for 10 months. It's a whole different ball game. It's still a rewarding job. I agree with you. I think the biggest problem in the school system, one, we don't hold these kids accountable, and two, the lack of males that are in the school system. I remember when I was in school, if you didn't do an assignment the day it was due, you just got a 0. Now these kids can make it up whenever. The lowest grade you can give them is a 50. It's different. It's different. And I think there's no accountability. As far as why there's lack of male teachers, I really can't speak on that. I really don't know the reason why. I guess maybe just most men just don't want to deal with kids. But yeah, that's definitely a problem. A lot of times they view us male teachers as security guards. We're just there to break up fights.
Thanks.
I tell my students all the time. Matter of fact, I told my students this week because they was roughhousing. Like, y'all get to fight, and I'm gonna let you fight, and I'll break it up when someone get dropped. Because if y'all hit me, ain't nobody gonna be able to stop. Ain't nobody gonna be able to get me off of you. So I'm gonna let you fight, and I won't break it up till somebody get dropped. But it's a rewarding job. It's a rewarding job. And Trigger, I don't know, Trigger, his significant other, she's an assistant principal, so she could probably tell stories as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So, and it's been rough. The school I'm at, we done had a fight every day for the past 2 weeks. Yesterday alone, we had 5 fights.
And we cooked, chat.
Yeah.
We cooked.
These some violent motherfuckers, man.
Oh my God!
Don't even know why they want to fight. They just want to whoop somebody's ass. That's pretty much what it is.
That's how I'm feeling today.
It's expression, man. They don't know how to express themselves any other way.
Yeah, just a bunch of vomit. One girl got jumped 3-1. They don't like you because you, and then you ask why y'all fighting. Well, she was looking at me, and I'm like, what? No lie, bro. Like a couple weeks ago, we had these two girls about to fight, and I'm like, so what's the issue? She said my feet stink.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, well, Heifer, maybe you need to wash your feet more, a little better.
But is that because we were like that as we were youth. We've had some instances and incidents, and I mean, I guess we were told to suck it up in our generation. Now you can really get in trouble for it, but I don't know. We used to go in the bathroom and fight. Like we had issues. We wouldn't fight out in public. We ain't had no cell phones. We ain't had none of that. We would just, I really want to go fight you. Like
yeah, or we'll wait till we get home and fight.
there you
I
go.
I
Yep.
really don't remember. I know we had school fights. And maybe the reason why, I don't know. Like I don't remember us being policed as these kids. Like you can't let these little fuckers out your sight. I remember teachers would walk out the classroom and be gone for like 2-3 minutes. You do that shit now, you might not come back to a classroom.
But we was like some classrooms with us was like,
Huh?
some classrooms with us was like that.
Well, yeah.
But you also had we had Stig and Coach Manuel and teachers to where we ain't playing. Ain't like even our bus drivers. I won't play in that with Miss Haskins and Miss Pencil. What they do on the bus now? What this bus driver telling me these kids doing, especially with shortage and underpay. Like man,
Well, the thing of it is, teachers could be teachers now.
yeah.
The whole it takes a village to raise kids. That's kind of died because now if you sit there and say something, now the parents feel type of way with me. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna sit there and say what I'm on my mind. And if your mama got an issue with it, your mama dad got an issue with it, come pull up on me. So.
But but then once especially with you probably getting into those conversations and you see I see why they act like just the way
Yeah.
you handle it. I see why they handle it that way as well.
Yeah. And then you have conversations with the parents. You like, well, damn, okay, I see why this child is like the way he or she is.
Yep.
Like, damn, the damn parents crazy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I see that with these fourth graders. I see that Casanat, Asho Speed, a lot of them are on that, and a lot of periods. I heard a lot of periods from a lot of multicultural children, and I've never been period like that before.
What you mean?
Like period, I can't even say it. Like the period with a
on
T.
my soul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and little boy's weird, man. I ain't gonna lie. I don't. When we was young, I don't remember us trying to touch each other like that. I ain't never had to get told for top touching each other. Like these little two black boys kept just touch like what are y'all almost holding hands. Like we are in a park. Like this Civil War battles happen here. Y'all sitting here having to be told not to stop touching each other.
Oh yeah, bro. All right, you should come into a middle school locker room with 20 to 30 year old. 20 to 30, 12 to 13.
20 to 30 years. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Come in a locker room with 20 to 30, 12-year-old boys. It's
hey,
man.
Hey, even that too. Hey, I don't want to know.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, it's brutal. It's brutal.
No,
sometimes as a teacher, you gotta stoop to that level, man. I remember, kids, they were taking the shirt and wrapping it up and hitting each other.
Yeah.
And I kept saying stop. They wouldn't stop. So I said, you know what? So I took a rental uniform, wet that jank up, wrapped up. I said, next person to do it, I'm tagging you. Oh, they ran. They ran and sat the fuck down. So sometimes you gotta meet them at the. Now I won't go hit them, but I gave them the impression like, oh shit, if we don't sit down, Miss Mallory he gonna fuck us up.
Oh yeah.
So you gotta meet them at that level sometimes. And know your kids. Like I feel like some teachers, they're out of touch with the kids. Like they want to, like at the school I'm at, it's a Title I school. Like some of these teachers are, talk to these kids like we're at a prestige, like a tomahawk, the higher the highs. These kids don't understand that language. You got to talk to them like how their parents talk to them.
You know what I hate is that they consider the tomahawks the higher the high when I think they artificially inflated these schools to have it. I mean, I think this is done purposely.
Oh yeah, they definitely zone kids the
Yeah,
way they zone kids. Yeah, that's yeah. I was trying to, maybe I shouldn't have said hide the highs. Maybe let me say in society's eyes.
yeah. Society. That's
Um,
what I'm getting at too. Just
yeah, yeah.
the prejudice, not the prejudice, just the stereotypes that they have from. You can tell by schools. I mean, we had it. I mean, me and D Givens talk about it. How like Matoka, we was a melting pot of classes, of cultures, of
Mm-hmm.
everything. It was you had the force to interact with all type of people. It won't.
Yeah,
It, and it's to see like the fourth graders to see the schools now to see how it's even more of that. It's just it just shows to why we're needed. Like
yeah.
it's weird. I was so proud to see out of my group, out of I think the 8 chaperone, it was 6 males,
Okay,
and it was 3 brothers, and it was 2 Spanish guys, and it was a white guy with us, and
okay.
then we had 2 females. But I mean, I had 3 people. I watched my people, but it was just so chaos. It was chaos. Like we're in the field trip, and they're talking about, hey, y'all can't leave when they said y'all was gonna leave. Y'all got to leave 30 minutes early because the buses got to get back. And I'm just like, what? And then it's like just the groups and the kids not listening. And then I'm trying to like how my kids ain't acting up and acting crazy. But then some kids are, and then some kids they're acting like this, and your parents right there, and just allowing this behavior to happen. And it was just, I saw a melting pot of everything we was talking about, and it's just like,
Yeah, it's a different ball game, man. And I feel like and it's funny because every time we have a substitute that never teaches, they'll spend one day, and I swear all of them be like, "Man, y'all are underpaid."
yeah, for sure, y'all underpaid and understaffed, like,
Yeah. So.
in and then I went to school to go into the school. Shout out to Southside Elementary. Uh, to have good office people, I see can change a school because like these ladies in the office, their energy, just with
Mhm.
chaos going on, all the craziness, how they making jokes, how they being themselves, how they not
Mhm.
flustered, they're not frustrated, they're not giving attitude, they're just going with the flow, and it's just
Well, they have attitude. They just they know
they're
how
not showing it,
to. Yeah, they're not showing. They
masking.
know how to. All right, when we got visitors, we got to put on this face. But no, they get frustrated because, and that's another thing. People think they don't do nothing. They are the backbone to schools.
Oh, we know. Oh,
You
yeah.
don't know the type of work these office ladies. They're the first ones there, and they're the
Hmm.
last one to leave. You know, a sub calls out, then they're ripping and running trying to get a sub for this class. Like the work they do is astronomical.
Yeah, no, they were frustrated. She was frustrated, and you saw it in her face, and we had a laughing
Mm-hmm.
moment. But you can tell, like you said, they have the decorum intact to hold it together and know, like, if we weren't in here, it would be different words than even what they're saying right now. So yeah, and
Yeah.
then just hearing administrators say, "Oh my gosh, I can make plans because no bus is late," I'm just like, wow, like
Mm-hmm.
this is the third time this has happened all year, and we're in March. So she's like, and I get it. We get the text messages, so I see it every single day. This bus is late, hour late, 40 minutes late, and it just goes to show bus drivers are important. Like making sure they're focused and they're paid well, so they're not dealing with issues and what they're going with to drive the kids to school. And we need more, so some of these routes can be more efficient and in all types of elements. You just see the whole ecosystem and what your tax dollars really go to and how much is truly needed and how much different legislation is needed and just the overall involvement by everybody is needed in these communities, and the ones that's already in it and making it better, like you and like Trayor, our public service people. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for everything y'all do for me, my family, and everybody else's family. And let's get into some mother fudging sports. How y'all doing, fellas? I don't know
I
if
can't
you done,
complain.
Mouse. If you done, I don't know.
Hey,
I
I'm
don't
good.
know.
Yeah, we can move on for the trigger rant.
Oh, now look, he want to come back now. He was getting his stats for what he about to say.
Yeah.
I was reading up on some stuff. I was reading up on some stuff.
He was getting some stats. Go ahead. The floor is yours, brother.
Man, so what I really want to address as far as the rant goes is this whole LeBron James Stephen A thing. Um, I have a lot of thoughts about this, and my mind's kind of been all over the place. I've been trying to like harness stuff and like trying to get a game plan together how I want to attack this, and I just couldn't really come up with nothing to go by. So I'm just going to just go on just how I feel. So first and foremost, I think what LeBron did, and I mean, and y'all are familiar with the situation, right? Y'all seen the clip of LeBron confronting Stephen A. at the Lakers game when they played the Knicks last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yep.
in my opinion, I thought that was very weak of him, like absolutely weak, and like you know what did that really accomplish? You know, like I really thought that was weak on LeBron's part because number one, it's Stephen A. Smith. Like Stephen A. didn't even say anything bad about your son. He was stating facts.
Yeah.
And there's other sports media people and other former players and athletes who have echoed or agreed with things that Stephen A. has said. And he hasn't said anything, as far as I know, or ran up on any of them. Can you imagine if like Kevin Garnett said something like that and he was courtside at that game? You think LeBron would have ran up on him?
Nah.
Then he would have ran up on Shannon Sharp. Is there an episode out there where Shannon Sharp co-signed what Stephen A. said about Bronny James? You know, Shannon Sharp go to Laker games all the time. You think LeBron would have ran up on Shannon Sharp the way he did Stephen A.?
No, and then LeBron and Shannon, they're tight as well, but they have a friendship. I
I
think
know they,
Shannon.
they have a relationship, but I feel like he wouldn't have like talked out of pocket to him.
No, he wouldn't.
Yeah, so it's like the Will Smith Chris Rock situation. Like if Chris Rock was another comedian that said that joke, if he was The Rock or Terry Crews, you think Will Smith would have went up there and slapped him?
Oh no, hell no, absolutely not.
So like to me, a professional athlete, you're 6'8", 260, and you're confronting a guy who just covers the game
Can I
for something
caveat
that
you?
for
And who's
something that
and who's 15 years older as well.
yeah, who just was doing his job. Didn't even say anything malicious.
Do
Yeah.
you think it matters that maybe it's the personality of these people that you can't even imagine them saying it, or is that maybe part of it? That maybe because it's Stephen A. that he gets because it's you and who you are for you to say it.
Yep.
Maybe it's a little bit more to warrant that, like with Chris Rock and Will Smith, for it to be you and who you are. But I think that was a whole different situation. But maybe it's
Yeah,
because it's
it is a
you.
different situation. I was just talking about, physical beings like Will Smith, physically superior to a
No,
Chris
no, no.
Rock
Yeah, yeah.
as, yeah,
I think
different
I get that.
situations.
Do you think it's more Stephen A. or do you think it's more of stature?
I think it's because it's Stephen A. And I'll get into that point a little bit because I want to make another point about that too. So with LeBron confronting Stephen A. because it's Stephen A. The second thing I had a problem with was it was during a game. So he went over there. I was under the impression when I first saw the video that it was like after the game. But
Hmm.
apparently, according to Stephen A., it was during a timeout in the third quarter of that game. So LeBron went over there when he knew, he had to go back to the bench or wherever because the game was still going on. He went over there. He chose a time where he didn't have a lot of time to make his point or even hear Stephen A's side, which is weak to me. Like you could have went over there after the game and had a conversation, and let even Stephen A. explain where he was coming from, and maybe explain, why you felt the way you felt. But he did that during the game where he knew he didn't have a lot of time to go over there and do what he did. And Stephen A. even told him during that little 15 to 30-second conversation that they had, hey, we can talk about it. And LeBron shot it down. And LeBron didn't really say much. All he kept saying was, "Stop effing with my son. Stop, shitting on my son." All this stuff about Bronny. Like he just kept telling him to stop messing with Bronny. That's really all he said. And to me, that means that deep down, Stephen A. was right about your son. If that's all you had to say, because if you really upset and you really had a point to make, you would have addressed it in that time, or you would at least have came over there after the game when y'all had all the time in the world to sit and have a conversation or talk about it more in depth, not during a 30-second timeout or a minute timeout in the third quarter.
Yeah.
So, with all that being said, to me, it didn't help LeBron's image And obviously, it's not a great reflection on Bronny either. Now, getting to Bronny and Stephen A. Reporting on Bronny, I've been looking up clips. I've been like trying to find things, and like I have not seen Stephen A. get out of pocket with Bronny. He was only reporting, stats, facts, stuff that can be proven and looked up. When Stephen A. came out and said, when Bronny was getting those big league minutes and he was averaging point 0.3, point 0.3, and point 0.4, that's not shitting on your son. That's not disrespecting your son. That's facts. That's what your son did at the NBA level. Stephen A. was coming from the standpoint of, all right, we saw something in NBA history that we have never seen before, a father and son playing together on the same team on the court at the same time. And that was a great moment. It's probably one of the best moments, if not the best moment that we've seen this season in the NBA. Because that's special. Like we don't come across it every day. We got a lot of father-son duos in the NBA, but none of them played together on the same team, like LeBron and his son, Bronny James had. So I get it from the standpoint of, hey, you had the opportunity to do that. You're in a position where you can make that happen. You can pull some strings. You got influence. All these things, great, all for it. But now, after y'all have that moment, Stephen A. was like, and there's nothing wrong with what he said. All right, send him to the G League so he can earn his stripes. But no, they kept him on the main roster. They kept putting him out there and putting him out there and letting him play against NBA players when he clearly was not ready. And now, because, he's averaged 0.3, 0.3, and 0.4 against NBA competition, how is he exempt from being talked about and examined? Bronny James was under the microscope because of who he's related to. Coming out of high school, we all saw this coming down the pipeline. Bronny James already had a target on his back before he even got to the league. The target gets bigger when you put him in a situation like LeBron has, where he's playing NBA players when he's clearly not ready and he's not doing well. And now these big-time reporters like the Stephen A. have to call that out. They have to be fair because they do it with everybody else. So what makes him different? Because he's LeBron's son? Is he above criticism? No, you treat him like everybody else. And in doing so, Stephen A. was not disrespectful. He didn't attack his character. He didn't say anything about his family or his upbringing, nothing like that. He kept it strictly basketball. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to figure out what LeBron had a problem with, because he called a spade a spade. Let's see. Go ahead.
I will say we've seen Stephen A. be disrespectful, a la Kwame Brown. He didn't come close to that with Bronny James.
Mm-mm. Stephen A. has always been a real dude. Like, I've never seen him say something and then somebody come back and say he contradicted himself, or like if Stephen A. was ever wrong about something, he's always fessed up to it and admitted it. Mm-hmm. Like he's one of them guys, and I've been waiting. I've seen stuff like this happen with athletes and reporters and all this stuff over the years or whatnot, and like how the internet do. They going back and they digging up videos and trying to, this is what he said right here. Like, he said this a couple of days ago, or a couple of months ago, he said this, so he contradicted, so he changed the story. I'm like, I haven't seen any videos on social media of Stephen A. allegedly disrespecting the Bronny James. I haven't seen it. So that also tells me that, what Stephen A. was saying is truthful and he's being real and being factual about LeBron James' son. But see, LeBron James did all this. What you got, B-Wise?
With the 55th pick, though, are we talking about the 55th pick if it's not LeBron James Jr.?
No, absolutely not. And see, and that's what I was getting ready to get into, so you were already kind of getting ahead of me. Oh, no, you good. I'm glad you brought it up because it's going to segue me into what I'm about to talk about. So LeBron brought all of this on Bronny James because he was the one that was watching NBA League Pass and said Bronny James was better than half the players on TV. He was the one that said Bronny James come play for the Lakers right now and help us win a championship. He was the one that boosted him up and hyped him up. And not only does Bronny James, his father is the most well-known basketball player on the face of the planet. You get drafted by one of the most popular sports teams on the planet. That right there in itself is going to put you under a microscope. Now the best basketball player on the planet, has said all these things about you and how great you are and how you're better than half the guys in the league. So now everybody is treating you differently than just some other random 55th pick of the second round of the NBA draft because LeBron done boosted him up. Oh, he really liked that. All right, so now he really under the microscope. If he wasn't already, he really under the microscope now because LeBron done boosted him up. And then LeBron boosted him up. He doesn't perform up to par against NBA competition after LeBron said all those things about him, being better than half the guys in the league. And then you put him on the Lakers, they come win a championship. Now he'll live up to that, and you get mad when somebody calls him out over it.
Yeah.
That's a little crazy to me, don't y'all think?
Yeah.
So, what is LeBron talking about here when he mentions that, or when he mentions that he's upset with Stephen A. And this is the other thing that pissed me off too with LeBron. Like I was upset of him approaching Stephen A. and basically going on a whole tirade like, F that, stop messing with my son. He made it all about Bronny with Stephen A. A few days later, before the Celtics game, he's talking to Richard Jefferson. It doesn't mention Bronny, but he talks about how Stephen A. said, I'm coming to you as a father. And he's like, when he said that, I couldn't. I had to say something like I couldn't. But when you were confronting Stephen A., you never said anything about him questioning your fatherhood. So the whole time, it's not about Bronny. It's really about
you.
About you. So why didn't he bring that up when he confronted Stephen A. to begin with?
Trigger,
What you got?
Can I answer your question on that one? Because I like where you at. I think it was a stunt. Because whenever I watch NBA game, it's you never, even at the post game when the camera right here, you never hear anything on the court. You'll hear them see what they're saying. But for these two instances, you've heard him. It's video directly of him and Stephen A. at this moment confronting each other, and you got the Richard Jefferson, and you got the response. I'm just saying it could be staged. But
well, I don't put that past LeBron because he knew what he was doing. Like both of those games were nationally televised games. He knew Stephen A. was at that Knicks game, watching his Knicks play. He knew Stephen A. was going to be there. Stephen A. spends a lot of time in LA. He knew Stephen A. would come out. He knew he had a chance to go and confront him for that. And then he also knew Richard Jefferson was going to be, doing his thing against the Celtics on national television. And he went over there and said something when the cameras were rolling. But even then, still, it didn't help him because he said two different things.
Mm-hmm.
He confronted Stephen A. with one thing, and he went to Richard Jefferson with something different. So that looks weak to me as well. Like you going and telling Richard Jefferson about this whole father thing, and like you never brought it up with Stephen A. And then Stephen A. went back on the air this week after all that happened over the weekend, and he was understandably upset because it was like, well, hold on, you came at me, and it was all about your son, but you go talk to somebody else, and now it's a different issue. And I tried to reach out to you. I tried to get you to talk to me about it. You won't talk about it, but you go and saying all these other things. Like it was this whole other issue the whole time. You never said anything to me about that. So I'm like, it doesn't help his case. Even though he might have planned how these instances went down, it didn't put LeBron in any better of a light, in my opinion. It made him look worse to me. Two different things. But Stephen A's argument and his side has been consistent the entire time. I still ain't seen the video yet of him maliciously going after Bronny James, ever. I've seen him just about addressing on every platform on First Take. I've seen the bit he did on his podcast. And earlier today, I watched the bit he went on Gil's Arena, and he really lit into LeBron on that. I don't know if y'all saw that, but if I were y'all, I would highly advise y'all to go and watch that bit.
I did, Trigger. And the
he
reason
came unhinged in that one.
Another reason his deal happened. He said, I waited for after the deal. All this happened after the deal when you've been doing all this political, Stephen A., you've been doing this political stuff, and you've been waiting to go on Gilbert Arenas, and all this happened right before you go on Gilbert Arenas. So that's another reason I think maybe staged.
Yeah, maybe, but Obviously I side with Stephen A. And it's not an everyday thing. A lot of people hate on Stephen A. for whatever reason, because he's too real sometimes. And that brings me to the next point, because after watching LeBron and Stephen A. go through this little rift or whatever they got going on, I've learned two very important life lessons out of this. The first thing is, no matter who you are or what you do, people are gonna love you, they're gonna hate you. And no matter if you're right or wrong about a particular subject or topic or whatever it is, because of how somebody feels about you, that's how they're going to judge you accordingly. Well, let me really break that down and explain. So let's say, everyone loves LeBron, everyone hates Stephen A. Even though Stephen A is speaking facts and everything that he is saying can be looked up and researched, like, there's no personal feelings involved. It's just straight facts, all numbers. People who don't like him will find every reason in the book to devalue that and take away from that. And they'll look at that and look at Stephen A and call him a hater. He's an Uncle Tom. He's a coon, all this stuff, because he's criticizing black players for having a bad game. When the leagues that he covers, 98% of the league is black. How is he being a hater for saying LeBron or KD or whoever had a bad game? Why? Where's the energy when he's boosting these guys up and giving them their flowers and giving them praise? No one talks about that when he's defending certain players and saying good things about them. They're only focusing on when he criticizes them, when they deserve the criticism. It'd be one thing if he was getting personal with players and talking about, off the court issues and their character and, their family, and, he was getting like that. But like, he's talking about their performance, which is what he's paid to do. That's what ESPN just extended him for, paying him to talk about athletes and their performances on the court, on the field, or whatever. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we doing? But he will have all the facts and all the things in the world to back him up, and people who don't like him will devalue it because they don't like him. LeBron, on the other hand, because he's loved by a lot of people, even though he's wrong in this situation, they'll make every excuse in the book as to why it's okay for him to be wrong. Even though Stephen A's got all the facts and he's right, fuck him. Why does it got to be like that? Why can't it be that, okay, we don't like this person, but they make a good point. So let's acknowledge the point and just say, hey, you're right, and move on. Why we got to, call them a hater and shit on them because we don't like them, even though they're speaking the truth? I don't like how that mindset has taken over here in society with everything. Like, just because somebody don't like somebody, it doesn't take away from the fact that what they're saying may or may not be, or what they're saying is true, and what they're saying is factual. I don't like him, even though he's saying everything, all the right stuff and everything, but I don't like him. And you say all kinds of things and shit on them and whatnot, even though they're right. And somebody who's wrong, you'll praise and make excuses as to why they can be wrong, and it's okay for them to be wrong. Like, what? I don't understand that. I don't understand that, because, it's like, me being a firefighter, for example. Like, we got, some people who work with the fire department who don't care. They just don't. They do the bare minimum. They're not trying to get better. They just, sit on their asses all day or as much as they can, and they're just collecting the paycheck. You got other people who care about the job, who train, who work their asses off, who do everything that they're supposed to be doing. They run a fire scene, they run an EMS call to perfection. So we got that one firefighter we love who does all those things. We got that one that we hate that sits on the couch all day and just, is trying to skate through the shift and get home. Now, both of those men do the exact same thing. The firefighter we love will get praised. The one that we hate does the exact same thing that the firefighter we love does, and he gets criticized. They both did the same thing. You see what I'm saying? Like two people could do the exact same thing. But if you hate one person and love the other person, you're going to judge them based off of how you feel rather than what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like you, but hey, you did a great job running that fire scene right there. You did a great job running those EMS calls. You're still a scumbag, but you did a great job this time. Kudos. Why you got to tear down everything the man did, even though he did what he was supposed to do, just because you don't like him? Fuck it, admit it. You're right, and move on. Because stuff like that can really motivate people and have people turn over a new leaf. Like if they have a reputation for being, a terrible person or whatnot, and all of a sudden they get a compliment from somebody like, "Hey, you did a good job." That might be all they need to turn things around. But if you keep beating them down and beating them down, well, they're going to keep doing what they've been doing. Because it's like it doesn't matter if I do a good job if I don't do the job at all. Like I'm still going to get the same hate. So why am I even trying? But that's one thing. The second thing that I took from this is on top of that. Hold on real quick.
Do 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 do. Let's see. Lady Ray said, "I don't think it was staged. Bronny should not be in the league with his dad. Period. He just wasn't ready." I agree he wasn't ready, but I do get what they mean by not sending him to college and just letting him play in the G League and get the experience. I mean, he getting on the job experience, so why not get paid to do it? That's how I look at that. True got the blanket. Miles over there got the sticks click clacking.
Oh
He over
yeah.
there recruit.
I just finished my other season, so I'm in recruiting mode. My bad.
No, you good. You good, bro. I'm in the online dynasty getting my butt whipped. I should be winning these games, man, but I'm losing.
Yeah, that's a different breed. I'm gonna let you handle that.
I think you'll like it. It's the time commitment is tough. Like trying to get games with mountain time and all that stuff. But I mean, why not go to college? I mean, he should be in college. I mean, I watch Gil's Arena like Trey was saying, and I see the argument. I mean, he could be in college, but I mean, why not get an NBA salary to play in the G League, which is a league above college?
Right.
He's not trying to be his dad. Nobody's trying to make him Braun, and that's the issue. Everybody trying to make him Braun. He ain't trying to be Braun. But I mean, if he can make a NBA, he has an NBA contract, and he's getting better competition in the G League. So I mean, why not? And then when we have games, we can call him up so he can get actual experience. It's like an internship for me. That's how I look at it.
Right.
And for people who hating on him, man, that's just crazy.
Dang.
But I mean,
my fault, America. I lost my 4-star cornerback to Virginia Tech.
Yes, sir. That's my team at Dynasty. Yes, sir. I only got like 9 recruits too, and I'm losing games, so they ain't coming. So it's like it's getting tough, brother. Times are hard in the Boulevard. I need speed. I need a speedy wide receiver. I got a good running back, and then I don't know. I just got to play better too. That's the other part. I got to play better.
I hear you.
What happens when he can't play no more? When who can't play no more? What he fitting to do now? He playing with what? I don't get. Yeah, he in the G. That's what the G League is for development. But he don't got a 2-way contract. He has an actual NBA contract, so it's better for him financially. So I mean, it's the same thing, but I mean, he can just go up to the NBA, and it's smart. It's smart for him. It's smart for him, truly. I mean, because now we can actually put you with the team to develop you into what we want you to do. It's a system that I wish the NFL had. If the NFL had like a developmental league like this, to what spring football is kind of getting to, I mean, I mean, what you mean? If he got a that's why you sign a contract, and that's what happens in college. What happens in college? You get hurt and you can't play. That NIL ain't gonna pay for the rest of your life. his fallback is that man's a multimillionaire at 18, 19 years old. He can go do something else. He can go back to college and pay
Well,
for
all
it.
right,
Like,
well, Brandon, and I mean, for the average person, yeah. When you LeBron James Jr., you ain't going. You ain't. He ain't going to end up homeless.
that's what I didn't want to get at that without getting at it. Like,
I mean,
it's
but we let's he'll be all
yeah.
right.
You got clutch sports, clutch. Like it's. I mean, it's plenty of things, plenty of avenues that he can pivot to. I mean, for me to be back on the basketball court after I almost lost my life on it is a amazing accomplishment. And I think he's a young man that values that. And I'm just great to see him getting that shine, getting that play, and he's doing what he loves. I mean, he's developing. It's nothing. It's no expectations on him. Like it's no expected. Everybody is putting expectations on him. We would not do this for Larry Mallory. I'm sorry, I didn't use government names. We would not do this for Bobby Boucher if he was the 55th pick.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to come up with a fake name, and
Yeah, well, you.
Boston getting their tail whipped right now. Oh, they just made a three.
Damn,
That's all they do is shoot threes, man.
I need a fucking receiver, man.
I mean, and then he in the G League doing his thing. It's not like he in the G League and he's doing bad. He's in the G League and actually hooping. Like y'all got a Bronny hooping in the G League.
Yeah. Miss Trigger, you back?
Yeah.
Uh,
Bronny averaging 20 points, 4.9 rebounds. Let's say 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists.
He's got a shot to be a pro one day. I know sometimes guys get drafted to the G League, and it takes them a few years before they finally find themselves and get good enough. But I think that'll be the road for him. I think if he keeps up the way he's going right now, as a rookie, he's putting those kind of numbers. In a few years, he gets better. I think he can find his way to the main roster and stay there.
Especially if you just got to stand in the corner and shoot for Luka to throw it to you. Bronny, just stand there and just do what you do. Just shoot them corner threes and play defense. Shoot them corner, and Bronny will have a great career.
Yeah, he has a chance to get there, but he definitely was not NBA ready this season. And like I said, it was great that they had the moment, him and his dad together on the court. The Laker uniforms in front of that home crowd, like excellent. After that, straight to the G League, and he should just stayed there. Do what he's doing now, and they probably would have had a better outcome as far as like the media on him. Like people probably be hyping him up right now, seeing what he's doing in the G League, rather than him coming up to the NBA and doing what he did and kind of, putting that negative media attention on him in terms of people critiquing his game. I don't think it would have been as bad. But LeBron, he did all this to himself. And the fact that he went after, Stephen A. and made it seem like he was a victim and Bronny was the victim when he hyped him up and said Bronny was better than everybody and, he could help them win a championship and all this other stuff. Like, you did that to him. Yeah. That was all you. So, like, you can't be mad now when he shows up and it doesn't go as you thought it would, and people are calling y'all out over it, or calling him his play out and calling you out for, not intervening because we know you're powerful. We know you had a big part in him getting drafted to the Lakers when he probably shouldn't have. So we know that you have enough power to get in the organization's ear and be like, yeah, probably G League, let him work on his game, and then, once he gets where he needs to go, bring him back up to the NBA level. So, but yeah, LeBron really lost a lot of respect for me after his shenanigans with Stephen A. Smith, and even before then, like the whole face of the NBA comments, him talking about the media shitting on play. Like, when does the media ever shitting on guys? Because they, again, call you out for having a bad game. How is that shitting on players?
Right.
And again, he ignores it when they praise him, because I'm pretty sure Stephen A. has praised LeBron on going to 9 straight NBA Finals. I remember Stephen A. and Skip Bayless on First Take the day after LeBron won his first championship when he was with Miami. I remember Stephen A., viciously defending LeBron against Skip Bayless on First Take that morning. I remember Stephen A. saying, 9 straight finals, won 4 finals MVPs. He's a league MVP, all-star every year, first team All-NBA every year. Like, the man has done, all-time leading scorer. The man continues to break records and continues to be great and do all these things. Like, it's going to be a really long time before we see another player of a LeBron's caliber. And I know Luka's a triple-double machine, but he ain't LeBron James. To see a player play 20-plus years and literally be dominant like every single year. Like, the numbers he's putting up this year, like, you can go back to like 2013, 2014 and find identical numbers, like when he was in his quote-unquote prime. Like, this man has not fallen off. And, Kevin Durant's the same way, but he hasn't accomplished as much as LeBron has, as far as like statistics and all that stuff. But LeBron's longevity and dominance going hand in hand with each other, I don't know if we'll ever see that again in the NBA. Because like we've seen a couple guys play 20-plus years, and a lot of them, but we remember how they all looked the last few years of their career versus LeBron. LeBron looked like he could go for like 3 or 4 more seasons, easy. Easy.
Trigger. Kevin Durant coming to Miami too. Side note, but continue.
No, he not.
He coming.
No, he not.
He coming.
No, he not.
He
but
coming.
Speaking of Miami, I think right now we are witnessing them silently tanking before our very eyes.
Terry Rozier.
The only problem with that is their record is not going to be bad. Even if they lose out the rest of the games, their record is not going to be bad enough to get them even a top 3 or top 4 pick. So it's like, why are we tanking now? Like, what we going to get? But anywho, I'm trying to hold on. I'm not too frustrated with them because whether they tanking or not, they're not doing anything this year anyway. I'm waiting for the summer of 2026 when they got cap space and they can actually go out and get a couple of stars or maybe a star and some really good role players and get them back into, championship contention. So that's really all I got to say about Miami is that, I don't know who made the decision, but if you was going to tank, you should have did it way sooner.
I'm going to take this.
All in all, it's not really, I would say all in all, it don't really matter because we won't expect to do nothing anyway.
It's sad for Miami. Don't worry. My second team going to bring a championship home this year, so we're going to be all right.
Yeah, this season for Miami is a wash, and so is next season. 26-27, that's when we're going to be back.
KD coming.
Two years of suffering, and then we're going to be back.
Yes, sir.
They're not getting KD this summer. It's going to be the Mavericks. The Mavericks going to be the front runners. Anybody else that can offer a better package of what Miami's going to have.
Put 2 bottles of water on.
Literally, any other team, all they got to do. Literally, any other team can offer a better package for Durant than we can.
Put 2 bottles of water on it.
Yes, I'll put 2 bottles of water on it.
We're shaking our hand. We shake. Miles, you heard bet that.
We're putting 2 bottles
Sparkling
of water.
I want liquid. I want the liquid death. I
feel like it's
liquid death.
I feel like this is a running joke. Every time KD is a free agent, Miami is brought up. They done met with KD. There's been rumors of KD coming to Miami like 3 or 4 times. It don't ever happen.
KD coming this year, bro.
The only time KD will be at Miami Heat is when he retires. They come back for a retirement ceremony. This man never played a game for the Heat organization. But we'll finally be able to sign him when he gets done playing.
All right.
One day contract.
All right, fellas. So we're coming up on almost an hour. So let's hit these. Last 2 ones I want to hit is I want to tell everybody in person that I rescind my application to the New York Yankees fan club.
He never even put one in, people.
I sent the Boston Red Sox the Hey Big Head text.
Fraud.
I sent the Boston Red Sox the Hey Big Head text. I am a Boston Red Sox fan and man. I am a Boston Red Sox fan and man.
B-Rise is a fraud.
Boston Red Sox. Let's go, Boston.
I never believed him for 1 second.
Let's go, Boston. Yankees is my second team. Yankees is my second team.
He tried to convince everybody his wife got him the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
I'm a fan now. I'm a fan. Yeah,
I got her new one on there. I got the Redkin one on. Shout out Redkin. Educator. She an educator. Redkin educator. Y'all go follow her at some Katie on Instagram. She got 7 of them, so I can't remember all the names. But yeah, Red Sox. I feel like what is it? ALCS? ALCS, right? Or NL? I don't know.
AL,
yeah, AL. That's right. ALCS. I feel it this year. We looking good. My second team, the Yankees, they've been hit by injuries. The injury bug is hit like it does every year in the Bronx, but we will survive. We will prevail. And
I'm very upset because there's really been one bad thing after another with the Yankees. Just Juan Soto, for one, just losing him to the Mets, which was the best case scenario, if I'm being honest, because the 4 teams that were really in the running was New York, Boston, the Mets, and the Dodgers. And maybe the Blue Jays, but I didn't really take them seriously. I didn't really think he was going to go there anyway. But out of all those teams, obviously, you don't want him in the division because, you got to play him, several times a year. If he joins the Red Sox or the Blue Jays, they're right there in the AL East. So that wouldn't have been ideal. The LA Dodgers, obviously, they got every damn body. They don't need Juan Soto. They just won the World Series without him. And honestly, the team that they built up this offseason, I think, was better than the team they had last year. So, you add Juan Soto to that, that just really puts them over the top. Just go ahead and hand them the trophy at that point. So I was like, no, we don't need that. So obviously that leaves the Yankees and the Mets. And I would have been fine out of those other teams if he goes to the Mets rather than any of those other ones because, yeah, he makes the Mets a little bit better, but I still don't look at them as a World Series contender just yet. I still got the Phillies and the Braves above them in the NL East. And then we only play him, 4 times or 6 times a year rather than if he was a Blue Jay or a Red Sox, playing them 10, 12 times. And then possibly facing them in the playoffs. I would have had nightmares. So, yeah, I hate that we lost out on him. But in the grand scheme of things, he signed with the team that I would, worst case scenario or best case scenario that he signed with, which would have been the Mets. I was like, if you don't sign with the Yankees, please sign with the Mets. Just sign with the Mets. I was really, really worried he was going to sign with the Red Sox for a second. I really was. But he signed with the Mets. So I was like, all right, it's a loss, but it's also a win. It is also a win in the aspect that the Yankees can now go out, all that money they want to throw at Soto, rebuild their team. And that's what they did. Still got some holes. Didn't fill out everything, but for the most part, they did get some pieces that they really needed. And based on how they looked in spring training so far, I'm excited. But I'm not getting too excited because it is spring training. The roster is, injuries everywhere. Starting pitching, we got Cole. He's out for the year. It's probably half of next season. Luis Hill, the rookie of the year, is out for the first 3 months of the season. But we still got Max Fried. Thank God we signed him. Carlos Rodon is a bit of a wild card, but hopefully he gets his act together because when he's good, he's really good. But when he's bad, he's really bad. It is no in between with him. You don't know what you're going to get when he comes up to pitch. Clark Smith has been hurt, but I think he should be good to go to start the season. Marcus Stroman, he'll be a starter now after all the trade rumors and whatnot. I got to think he's not going anywhere for the time being. Hopefully he can recapture that magic that he had for the first half of the season last year. He was actually really good. It was the second half of the season where he was horrible. But he did do good to start last year, and hopefully, he had a chip on his shoulder. He's gonna want to prove some people wrong, that he still got value, that he's worth the money that they paid him, and he can come out firing and show people that, hey, even if the Yankees don't keep me this year, maybe somebody will make a move for him at the deadline and bring him in as a starter, and they can take that money off off our books, and then we can go fulfill our needs elsewhere that we've been trying to fulfill. And then Will Warren, who pitched 6 games last season for the Yankees and was very bad. He had some good moments, but overall it was bad. Really good reports coming out of spring training about him. They really like the improvement that he's made, and they feel like he's taken a turn and taken a step in the right direction. And that is very, very encouraging to hear because he definitely has potential. I watched him pitch in the Philly series last summer when the Yankees swept the Phillies. But he gave up a lot of hits and some runs in that game. But he did have some moments where he went in and he struck out for really good players. And if he really has looked good, I think through spring training so far, he's only given up 2 hits. He's got 11 strikeouts and like 1 walk or something like that. And he's only pitched, I think, like 8 innings. But that's pretty damn good. So if he can carry that over into the regular season, I'll be happy with that. Because last year, if you look at it, the Yankees came into the season with questions about the pitching staff. Cole was out. They had some guys in the lineup that we didn't know what we were going to get. We're kind of in that same situation now. And those guys who on paper didn't look like they were going to hold up until Garrett Cole came back. Now, all of a sudden, they were one of the best pitching rotations in the league through the first half of the season. They have the potential to do that again, but I'm not going to bank on it. I'm just hoping for it. That being said, going to our hitting, I don't know who's going to be the leadoff hitter. I know they kind of been experimenting in spring training. They had different guys lead off: Austin Wells, Jazz Chisholm, Volpe, some other guys, prospects, Jason Dominguez. So I don't know who the leadoff hitter is going to be. I don't know who's hitting before Judge or after him. I don't know if they're going to put Judge in the 2 spot or the 3 spot like they did last season. There was rumors that they were going to move Judge up to hit second. Judge wants to hit third. But with Stanton being out, and he could possibly miss the year as well, given, he's kind of going through the same thing Garrett Cole. Obviously, 2 different injuries, but both of his elbows are messed up. And they're talking about potentially having season-ending surgery with him. So now, designated hitter, who's going to bat cleanup if Stanton's out? That could be Goldschmidt, could be Wells. Wells showed that he could perform in that spot late last season. So I'm guessing one of those 2 guys. But who's going to be DH? I don't know. They bring up somebody from the AAA. They go out and make a trade for somebody or sign a free agent that's out there. I hear J.D. Martinez's name on the books as a potential target, but I don't think that's going to happen because, like the Cowboys, the Yankees just don't. They just don't. But there's a lot of question marks. Times look real dark right now. It's looking like it's going to be a long season. But I'm hopeful. It's baseball. It's one of those sports, man. It's wonky.
The Red Sox are back.
The best team don't always win every single day. There's going to be a lot of baseball games. So the Yankees can really go out here. If they can make all this stuff work, get some momentum. I got a feeling the trade deadline will probably add another pitcher with Cole being out. I feel like. And maybe they'll go get another infielder at some point. But right now, I feel like they're pretty much done. They're not going to make any more moves as we get close to the opening day. They're going to go with what they got. And I'm just hoping what we got is going to be good enough to compete and get back to a World Series. But I feel like this team is not as strong as they were last season. given all the injuries and the spots. The only thing that I'm really excited about is our bullpen. Our bullpen is healthy. We got one injury in the bullpen, but for the most part, our important key pieces, they're all healthy. So I'm looking forward to, watching them perform, and we're probably going to have to rely on them heavily to get us through. So that's one bright spot about the Yankees. The hitting or the defense or the hitting, I don't know what it's going to look like. We'll be able to score enough runs given the offensive loss of Soto and where he was hitting in front of Judge. Defensively, I don't know how we're going to look in the infield because that was obviously a problem throughout the year last season, and we saw in the World Series pretty much a microcosm of the Yankee season, that defensive breakdown in the fifth inning of that last game. So that should not be an issue this year. They did shore that up a little bit, although we don't know who's playing third base, and we don't know how Jason Dominguez is going to adjust to left field because he looked bad in left field last year when they brought him up to the main roster and he played towards the end of the season, but he didn't do good enough to the point where they felt like they could play him in the playoffs. So he didn't even play in the playoffs. They had Alex Verdugo out there playing in his spot because he couldn't be trusted out in left field. But out here in spring training, he's been playing left field and it still has not looked good. He hasn't turned the corner, ain't taking the next step like Will Warren has in the pitching. So I don't know how left field is going to look. I don't know what he's going to do. If he can hit really well, that'll make up for it. But he ain't been doing that either. So we'll see what happens out there. So those are the only two positions really I'm concerned about on defense is third base and left field. Everything else, we should be better. Jazz is going to play second. I'm excited to see that. A natural position. So World Series, here we come. I hope. Probably not.
All right, so let's wrap it up with in the NFL. Thank y'all for Rico Duato. Thank y'all for that. I needed a 1-2 punch. So
I'll say his name.
$2.75 million base salary for 1 year. So I appreciate y'all.
Hey, shout out to the Dallas Cowboys out here tearing it up in free agency. Let me just give you. I'm gonna give you a list of names the Dallas Cowboys have signed in free agency or via trade. You just let me know. Stop me when you get excited. Cowboys have signed running back Javonte Williams.
Woo!
1 year, $3 million. Guard Robert Jones, 1 year, $4.5 million. Defensive tackle Solomon Thomas, 2 years, $8 million. Defensive end Peyton Turner, 1 year, $3 million. They traded for Kaiir Elam. They sent one of their 5th round picks and a 7th rounder for next year to the Bills for Elam, and they got an extra 2025 6th rounder. They also acquired, the latest move they made was linebacker Kenneth Murray from the Tennessee Titans and a 7th round pick for this year in exchange for one of their 6th round picks this year. I know what y'all thinking. Who the fuck are those guys?
That's high quality pickups.
That's what I said.
High quality pickups.
That's what I said. So here's the thing that's pissing me off for Dallas is that you freed up all this money, almost $60 million in cap, and you ain't spent more than $8 million on one player in free agency. Where's all this money supposed to go? All these other teams out here, you see what the Commanders have done? The Commanders right now are a Super Bowl team. They are building a Super Bowl team. This is a team that was 1 game away from the Super Bowl last year. 1 game. And already going into this season, they look better on paper than they did last year.
Like the Texans did? And they were going to the Super Bowl?
The Texans ain't signed the caliber of players that the Commanders did, though.
Danielle Hunter?
Who else?
I don't know that deep, but I know Danielle Hunter was a big signing last year when going to the Texans.
Okay,
Stephon
well,
Diggs.
look at
Stephon Diggs.
okay. Who else?
That's the two big players right there. Who the Commanders signed?
Larry Tunsil, one of the best offensive
He got
tackles in the
traded from
league,
Houston. He got traded from Houston.
but he's still a great player. That's a big pickup. A big pickup. Left tackle, blocking for Jaden Daniels. Are you kidding me? He went out and got Debo Samuel to play with Terry McLaurin. They re-signed Bobby Wagner. You don't think that offensive tackle and another receiver is going to elevate this offense?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I think the Commanders are going to let people down this year, especially when you're telling me that you got Saquon and A.J. Dillon. I don't care who you got. That defense ain't stopping that because you got rid of who? Jonathan Allen's gone. Who's replacing Jonathan Allen?
I don't know, but they're going to. You watch.
I mean, it's a big line. I mean, it's a good draft for it, but who's replacing Jonathan Allen?
The Eagles lost a lot too now.
They did. The Eagles, Milton Williams,
They
Josh
got rid of
Sweat.
the whole secondary, didn't
No, because you know their secondary was young. C.J. Gardner Johnson got traded, but
they? He's gone. Slay is gone.
That's like, but they got the young boys.
Yeah, but
I don't know. Commanders, they are on paper a Super Bowl team, but we know how that go.
I know, but I'm just saying the moves they're making scream that we're trying to win. Versus the Cowboys, they keep signing guys who are hyped up and former first-round picks that didn't pan out, hoping they can recapture that magic in Dallas. I guarantee you, most of those guys end up getting cut in training camp. And then what? So see, what bothers me with Dallas, they got the same formula for years. Draft the players, develop them, and pay them. We don't believe in going out and getting free agents to come in to put us over the top. We don't believe in making trades to get players to put us over the top. The Eagles, the Commanders, everybody around us, every team in the NFC is doing it, and we're not. You know what every other team in the NFC is also done that we haven't? Going to the NFC Championship game at least once since the year 2000.
2010.
So, Dallas, this formula that you're using is not working. It's a textbook definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and 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 over again, expecting the results to be different.
That's about to be a gift. That's about to be a meme.
Wake the fuck up. It is not working. It is not working. Look the fuck around you. Look at what everybody in your division is doing. Look at what everybody else in the conference is doing. Look at the results they've gotten. Have you seen 2 seasons ago, Washington was not in the conversation. They didn't know what they would. The Washington football team. That was an all-time low. The Washington football team.
Now they about to get a new stadium. They got about to go to Super Bowl.
Then 2 to 3 years after that, the Washington football team. Look at them now. You see what happens when you get competent ownership and people who want to win. Look at how fast.
We're not talking against the Cowboys ownership. We're not talking about the Cowboys ownership. They want to win, and they are fabulous ownership.
No, they don't.
They do.
Look at what. No, they don't, because I'm looking at the Commanders ownership, and how they're running things over there. Look at all the moves they have made in the last season and a half.
I got a
And look at
question.
the results they've gotten.
Why does Jerry Jones get flack, but the Pittsburgh Steelers don't get flack for doing the same thing?
What do you mean?
Yeah, they don't have losing seasons, but they go to the playoffs and lose. They don't. I mean, maybe because they got the Super Bowls. They got the Super Bowls. Maybe that's why recent Super
about to say
Bowls.
they got 2 Super Bowls in this millennium. And
Yeah, that's
3.
true. That's true.
Yep.
That's true.
Yep. Case closed. Yep. So, yeah. So look at the ownership that come in. And look how fast they have turned this team around. The Detroit Lions, same thing. They get a new coach. They go out and get certain players. They draft certain guys. All the right people. Look how fast they turn that team around. It's amazing what ownership and good coaching can do for a program in a short amount of time.
Well, y'all about to see it, man. Y'all about the Cowboys fans, get ready. Y'all about to see it. Y'all got the coach, and y'all been had the ownership. I feel 10 wins coming for y'all, especially if y'all don't trade Michael Parsons.
We're about to see the damn couch is what we about to see.
How y'all feel about that? Myles Garrett, $120 million guaranteed.
Hey, the ownership, the Cleveland Browns ownership, they must have watched The Godfather with that weekend because they gave him an offer he could not refuse.
Hey, they did it with Deshaun Watson too.
I ain't never seen no shit where you want it out so bad and then all of a sudden I'm a snap.
Yeah, let's tie all of our money up into Deshaun Watson and Myles Garrett.
Sound like the Cowboys.
And we gonna compete
with Deshaun Watson and CeeDee Lamb and now Michael Parsons. That's gonna be y'all cap. And Trayvon Diggs.
We're gonna compete.
Hey,
I feel bad for Myles Garrett. He wasted away in Cleveland. Hey, he said he wanted to go be on a contender.
Hey, Myles, you said an offer you can't refuse. I heard. I need the money, Nate. Really use the money.
Cleveland is not going to be competitive for a long time.
Shout out Lady Ray. She always said that. They might be, man, if they get a Russell Wilson or they get they got Kenny Pickett.
All right, well, who they gonna throw to?
Jerry Jeudy.
Who else?
David Njoku.
Who else?
If you want me to give you actual names, I don't think the Browns lacking on receivers. Cedric Tillman, Elijah Moore.
Running back. What are they doing at running back?
Nick Chubb is gone, but they got Jerome Ford, Pierre Strong Jr., and John Kelsey.
Over the edge right there. I put him over the top right there. Jerome Ford. So watch out.
Hey, y'all signed Javonte Williams and let a 1,000-yard rusher go for $3 million.
Man, look, Super Bowl.
I appreciate you.
We are winning the damn Super Bowl. Javonte Williams, that was the key pickup right there. That's what we needed. Rico who? You can have him.
Hey, you know what? You know if I'm CD, I'm mad I restructured my contract for this bull crap.
Yeah, and he should be. And Dak should be.
Get my money back.
Anybody who restructured their contract so Jerry Jones will go out there and pick up guys on high school varsity team should be upset. It should be upset. I done gave you $30 million back to use for this year, and you went out and signed somebody off a high school varsity team, the JV team. No. Go kick rocks and flip flops.
Well, it has been an interesting free agency so far.
Hate the Cowboys.
You love the Cowboys, Trigger. Stop it.
I do, but I hate them.
Carolina, we made J.C. Horn the highest paid cornerback in the league. We signed Treshaun Wharton, defensive tackle from the Chiefs. We signed Michael Jackson, the cornerback, back. J.C. Horn said Trayvon Moehrig, safety from the Raiders. Pat Jones, the second, a linebacker, and Bobby Brown, the third, from
It's my
The
prerogative.
Rams.
I'm about to say they signing R&B artists over there.
Yeah, we got Bobby Brown. We got Michael Jackson.
Bobby Brown and Michael Jackson, boy.
We signed
Yeah.
re-signed Tommy Tremble, and then Rico Duado, and then re-signed Brady Christensen, Austin Corbett, and we got Sam Martin from the Bills, Dan Chisena, and Christian Roseboom from the Rams. So we've been doing some things. I can see the vision. I think Malachi Starks or Jalen Walker at 8 would be great, especially with Georgia's pro day today that I have to go look at. And I think Carolina got 10 wins next year. I did the same trade, LOL. Yeah, we got Bobby Brown, Michael Jackson, Derek Brown. So
My prerogative.
it's gonna be good, man. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm gonna be in person to watch some of these wins and probably some of these losses. So,
Everybody's talking all this stuff about me.
but Miles and Trigger,
Lying
that
just
Cowboys
like
game is a
me,
real thing. So y'all better
baby.
get ready. That Cowboys thing is a real thing. What's going on, Flash? How you doing? That Cowboys thing is a game. I got 2
It's
seats
my
already. I
prerogative.
got 2 seats, and then the other tickets I get at face value. So we going.
It's my prerogative.
I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Yeah, I guess.
Fuck the Cowboys.
Why y'all say that, man? Y'all gonna get 10 wins this year.
Not at this rate. Nope. I told you, if we go out and we sign some ballers, yes. If we continue to sign high school JV players, no.
How y'all feel about D Hop? When is Johnny coming? Oh, I got you, Lady Ray. I was like, Johnny who? It's gonna
Who the
be
fuck
mostly
is Johnny?
wins. Mostly wins. Johnny Gill, I think. Mostly wins, Lady Ray. D Hop to Baltimore, I feel like it's the same old tune. Now that you think about it, you had Jeremy Maclin, Steve Smith, Anquan Bolden, uh, Odell. Um, who else did it had? They had Baltimore that had receivers like this that they can go. I mean, D Hop is good in the red zone.
OBJ,
He's
don't forget about him. We had him
yeah,
a
yeah.
couple years ago.
So I don't know. I just feel like same old for Baltimore. How about y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a good compliment to Zay Flowers, but I mean, I don't see him doing much more than what he did in KC. I mean, just hey, it's
Yeah.
like yeah, they signed a pretty good veteran receiver, but I'm not looking for him to put up the numbers he had when he was in Houston at this point in his career. Can he help them though? Yeah, absolutely. It's a big body target right there. Yeah. 50-50 ball. Yeah.
Don't worry, you're gonna see one in person when you go into that Dolphins game. Lady Ray, she locked in for the Dolphins game. So
I forgot they were in the NFL.
crazy. So she gonna be in person in Carolina to see them Dolphins take that L. Y'all gonna be in
Yeah.
person in Carolina to watch them Cowboys take that L.
Speaking of the Dolphins, though, I see Tyreek Hill. You know, if he wanted to be a Dolphin, now he decided he want to be a Dolphin. Now he want to be a track star.
Look, I'm gonna keep it real. Dallas got 1 to 2 more years out of me. They need at least get past the first round of the playoffs. Man, you about to stop being a fan.
I
Flash
feel
about to
like
be
every
done.
Dallas Cowboys fan says that every year. So instead of acting like I'm gonna change teams, I'm just gonna be like, "Fuck Dallas."
But what if they win? Can you go back if they win?
Hell yeah! I've spent all this time. I can switch teams for the next 10 years and come back to Dallas, and it's not gonna be a problem. I done invested too much time.
Y'all might win.
I don't give a damn. I'll become a fan of somebody else for the next 10 years, and then Dallas finally wins 1 year 11. I'm going back. Like I
I
never
can't.
left.
Like when I was younger, I started my very first team I liked was the 49ers because I had a jersey from one of their DNs. Then I went to the Eagles. And then in 2003, when I really got into football, I just fell into the Panthers. Like I can't see myself liking no other team.
That,
But I
that's
mean,
that's I find that real funny. You know, you became a Panthers fan the first year they went to the Super Bowl.
of course, that's all I could see on TV around here. That's all I can see on TV. I ain't had cable or nothing. I got who was on TV. The
You
very
try to
first play.
slide,
I tell you, the play I fell in love with the Panthers was when
try to
Steve Smith.
slide in there like we
When
wouldn't
Steve
know.
Smith ran the X Clown against the Rams in overtime, that was a play that made me
Okay, so
fall in love.
even more, so you became a Panthers fan deep into the playoffs
Yes, yes.
in the divisional round. So in
I
the
was
NFC
9 years
Championship
old.
game
I was
against the
9 years
Eagles,
old.
that's
A
when you became a
9-year-old
Panthers fan.
A 9-year-old. How long you been a Cowboys fan?
No, I've been a Cowboys fan since '97, buddy.
You was 5. At least y'all had a team in
I
'97.
didn't
Panthers
have
won
no choice.
around.
I ain't have a choice but to be a
The
Cowboys fan.
Panthers won around to
Me
'96.
neither.
So of course, before '96, you're not gonna be a Panthers fan. So I'm
No.
gonna have other teams. Yes.
So why you on a Panthers fan in 2000 or 2001 when Steve Smith returned his first kickoff back as a rookie?
Because I ain't have them on TV.
Nah. Ooh, this team in the NFC Championship. I'm gonna pick this team.
They won an NFC Championship then. They were in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah. Huh?
It was in the first round of the playoffs.
Okay.
You
They
won in the
won the
first round of
first
the playoffs
round.
this past
They
season.
won the second round, and then they won the third round.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for Adam Vinatieri, y'all would have won the Super Bowl.
No, if it wasn't for John Casey. John Casey kicked that kickoff out of bounds and they got up to the 40.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dang, they over here talking to us. But we all can agree they ain't gonna do too much until Jerry Jones leaves or disappear.
Nah, because
Man, you
this
can't
is-
stop and no, you can't be
Ain't
bad.
leaving and disappearing the same thing.
No, because what's gonna happen, Rem? His son gonna take over. His son. Where do you think his son learned everything from?
I don't know.
It'll probably
You can't
get
go
worse
to
when he takes over, honestly.
You can't go to B more around.
All right, but look, fellas, I gotta head on out.
I'm about to call it too. What's your final thoughts? It's 10 o'clock. I didn't know it was 10 o'clock almost.
I was gonna talk about a situation that happened at Southern University.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all heard about the young man that got killed by hazing by a certain fraternity. As a member of a D9, I kind of wish we would stop this narrative of hazing. It's illegal. Yes, the process should be difficult. I agree, and it is. But you don't need to be beating on or killing someone. A parent is not sending their child to college for them to come back in a body bag or in a casket. So, I get it. It's a tradition, but it's unnecessary.
Should be boundaries. Yeah.
Very unnecessary. So, as a D9 member, we really need to review, just review on life, you sitting there punching the motherfucker in the chest and he collapsed, change his clothes, and then just drop him off at a hospital. Like, that's someone's child, man. That's someone's brother.
Yeah.
Just because you had to go through it. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Ain't nobody put their fucking hands on me. I'll tell you that right now. But yes, the process needs to be difficult, and it is. It's very difficult. But it was difficult from a mental aspect, not a physical. So just wanted to throw that out there. So, condolences to the Wilson family. You don't send your child to school for them to come back in a body bag. That's all I got.
That's facts. That's true. Panthers 10 wins. That's what I'm ending with.
Fuck Dallas.
I can agree, Doug. The tradition needs to change requirements or something. They did a movie about that. Yeah,
Well,
burning
it's
sands.
It's
That was
illegal.
shot at Virginia
It's
State.
not allowed. It's illegal. It's not allowed. But when you have advisors that's supposed to oversee it, but when the advisors go home and go to bed, that's when trouble happens. It's not. It's an unsanctioned. What happened was an unsanctioned situation. I don't know how we're gonna figure it out, but it needs to be figured out.
And shout out, Rem. Shout out to Virginia State for that movie, Burning Sands, Trevor Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Well, all right, fellas. It's been real. I'm Be Wise.
I'm checking.
And when I get off this phone, I'm getting my girl's phone.
We
We
out.
still on there.
Peace,
Oh
peace,
my
peace.
gosh.
All right.